Good morning, everyone, and a good Erev Shabbos. We're at the last plague, Makas Bechoros, the plague of the firstborn, the death of the firstborn. It's very interesting the way Moshe presents it to Paro. He says Kichatzos Halayla, approximately around midnight. Commentaries I'll ask. The Talmud asks, why didn't he say Bichatzos Halayla at midnight? God said it'll be at midnight, and God knows exactly when midnight is. So why didn't he say Bichatzos Halayla? And the Talmud tells us, you know why? Because if the astrologers of Paro would have thought in their calculations that it wasn't exactly at midnight, they would have said, look, Moshe's wrong. It wasn't exactly at midnight. That sounds ridiculous. We're at the 10th plague. It means to say God and Moshe have a good track record. Everything else came true. Hail with fire, water turning to blood. And hey, all the firstborns did die. It's maybe not exactly at midnight, according to your calculations, but simultaneously they all died. But since it wasn't exactly at midnight, forget it. Doesn't make any sense. The commentaries tell us that the Talmud is telling us something very important, that Moshe is teaching us that God put within us always a little doubt. Why? Because we have free will. Because God wants us to choose. God wants us to look at everything. Not just the thing that happens right now. Not just that little maybe question right now and say, forget it. And make a whole life decision over one little maybe mistake that you think. They sort of said, hold on a second, maybe we made a mistake. God has a good track record. We must have done our astrology wrong and it's not yet midnight. Or midnight was already. But no. They decided to pick on this little thing and allow that thing to determine everything else. And that's part of our nature, to doubt our relationship with God. Because otherwise we wouldn't have any free will. If it was all crystal clear, we wouldn't have any free will to do something against God. So we all have to learn from this very important lesson and reflect internally next time we have something that's maybe seems not exactly the way it should be, a little question about our relationship with God, a certain mitzvah, maybe yeah, maybe not. Not to take that and make that now determine the rest of our life and past and future and our children's lives. But maybe ask. Maybe say, hey, there's a good track record God has. There's a lot of other good things. Maybe let me get this clarified. Because that's part of our nature to grab onto that little doubt and explode it. So let's make sure we don't do that. Let's not be like the Khartoumim, like the astrologers. But let's be strong and say, we're going to question, but we're going to question to try to understand. Wishing everyone a beautiful day and a beautiful Shabbos.